Chicago, I don't know what to say to kick off this episode. We have just 9 games to go this season. We are currently in the second wildcard spot in the Western Conference with just a 2-point lead on the Anaheim Ducks, who have a game at hand. And our starting goaltender, Drew Commesso, is currently out. Yeah. Last episode was highlighted by that injury and the decision to get rid of the struggling Mads Søgaard, leaving us in quite the dilemma. We traded at the deadline to get veteran Matt Zuccarello to try and assure us a playoff spot. We have the situation over what to do with P.O. Joseph after this season. He's an RFA at the end of the season. He is currently looking for an $11 million contract when we have the likes of Kevin Korchinski and Ivan Vorobyev on the team. And now Arvid Soderblom, who has coincidentally been our best goaltender of the season, is now tasked to carry the team unless Jesper Vikman can do so as well. He was dominating the AHL, and we might just have to call upon him here. So there could be a lot decided in today's episode. It could be an off-season episode. It could be a playoff episode. We don't know yet, but we are going to find out. And Vikman will be playing against either Winnipeg or Anaheim. But we start off with this game against the struggling Montreal Canadiens, and we lose 4-2. We still have that playoff spot by 1 point. The Jets are an amazing team, so we're going to be sticking with Soderblom for this next game. And we do win 5-3. That is honestly kind of shocking. Jesper Vikman will be making his NHL debut against the Arizona Coyotes. And he loses. It was close, but a 4-3 loss for us in that game. This is going to go right down to the wire. Florida is next, and then Anaheim. Anaheim's in a playoff spot. We are 1 point above the Calgary Flames. Same amount of games played. Florida Panthers got to be in a similar spot as us. We lose. We do get a Bettman point for losing in overtime. As things stand, we are currently out of the playoffs via tiebreaker. Anaheim, we lose 7-6 in a shootout. I'm regretting a lot of things right now. Dallas, how good's Vegas? Vegas is the worst team in the Pacific. We'll play Soderblom against Dallas. We are currently in a playoff spot. We beat the Stars and are 1 point above Calgary. 79 games played each. This will be the last game, the second and last game for Jesper Vikman, at least I hope. Jesper, can you make yourself a hero? Vegas. We lose 4-3 to the worst team in their division and maybe the worst team in the league. Is that going to cost us the playoffs? We have Nashville and Seattle. Calgary a point back. They have a game at hand. The Preds, as you can see, are 7th in our division. The Kraken have clinched a playoff spot. Nashville, we lose 8-3. Logan Brown's on waivers. I'll claim him for the AHL team. It comes down to this. We have to win, and Calgary has to lose. That is the only way that we make the playoffs, because presumably they have the tiebreaker. I don't believe you can look at league schedule, which sucks. GG, ZA. I don't even know for sure what the hell's going on. Clicked franchise overview for the first time in forever. Yeah, I mean, there's going to be no way to check other teams. Okay. One final game. Will we make the playoffs? Oh, God, against Seattle. Or will we fall short? Let's get the AHL team set up. Again, just going off of the highest ratings, with the exception of Crevier Let's get Sam Rinzel back in there. And, we'll drop Krutel. That's fine. AHL team is ready to go. We take on the Seattle Kraken, who aren't on a good run of form, but we have just 2 wins in our last 10 games. Here we go. Win, and we might be in. Lose, and we're definitely not in. First period, 2-2. Vince Dunn and Andre Burakovsky on the power play, but we do battle back. Adam Fantilli and then Ness on Coco. Second period, oh my sweet mother of God. McCann, Martinook, Van Riemsdyk, Beniers. Would it have been different with Comesso? We don't know. But what we do know is that we will not be a playoff team. P.O. Joseph scores in what is very likely his final game here in Chicago. But on the last day of the regular season, we missed the playoffs, losing 6-3 to Seattle and missing out in a game that did not matter because Calgary won. It wouldn't have made a difference. That's a heartbreaker, though. We had it, and it slipped. Arvid Soderblom could not get it done when it mattered the most. It is Winnipeg moving on. Minnesota will play Colorado. Dallas also makes the playoffs. You have Edmonton and Calgary making it, with Seattle moving on to play the Anaheim Ducks. In the Metro, Devils are in. Penguins will play the Rangers. And in the Atlantic, the Sens are in. The Sabres will play the Lightning. And the Bruins and Leafs have also made the playoffs, with the Ottawa Senators winning the President's Trophy. We were not the team with the most points to miss the playoffs. 14 Florida, 17 the Islanders, Blue Jackets, Habs all finished ahead of us, so we will have slightly better draft odds. Rockford, by the way, back in the playoffs, which is very, very nice. In terms of the team, Alex DeBrincat just under a point per game. Fantilli really did step up. Vanainen likely winning the Calder. We'll double check in a minute. But by the end of it, we did have pretty good point totals. How did Zook do? 15 points in 21 games. That's not amazing for what we gave up for him. But, it was a season where we said we're going to push for the playoffs, but we don't know for sure if we're going to make it. And we didn't. We were very, very close. I do think we have to seriously think about P.O. Joseph, because Kevin Korchinski is very well-rounded, but his offensive game hasn't quite developed. He is a play driver. He is solid defensively. He's a great skater, but his passing and his shooting leave a bit to be desired. Is he ever going to be P.O. Joseph offensively? Probably not. Vorobyev, despite offensive options, again, he is also very well-rounded, but Vorobyov's untouchable because of those X factors. Again, odds are, I do like to play people within their role. That's the only reason why I'm saying this. I like to play people within their proper role instead of just stacking the team as good as we can. We have a little bit of a challenge about it. Korchinski or Joseph has to go. And let's be honest, eventually we'd run into cap issues anyway, and someone would have to go, even if we left it more open. So we really have to kind of consider, is it P.O. Joseph or Kevin Korchinski? And like I said, I didn't want to necessarily get rid of Nolan Allen, but I didn't think Joseph would be available. I didn't want to get rid of Korchinski, but here's Vorobyev. So it leaves us in an interesting spot. Goaltending-wise, Vikman, wasn't even that much worse than what Sogard was doing. Soderblom and Comesso were about the same. You could really kind of argue if one would have been better than the other down the stretch. Evan Bouchard did lead the NHL in points, my God. And somehow scoring was, it didn't really bounce back, even after the settings changes. But Jason Robertson led the way in points, led the way in goals as well. Among defenders, we already know it was Bouchard. He's broken if you try to set him up to replicate what he's looking like. And, of course, an accurate potential for him. Cale Makar, though, led in goals with 33. Winningest goaltender, of course, it was New Jersey, Scott Wedgwood. Why wouldn't it have been? Shutout-wise, Allmark in Boston with 9, save percentage leader. Billy Husso with a 931. Not bad. Honestly, goaltending save percentages were fairly decent. I mean, Dreger had a 941. Excuse me? GG's, yay. And in the rookie race, Vanainen, he won it. He steps ahead of Chris Chelios. Oh my God, his name is actually Chris Chelios. I didn't even notice. Hendricks LaPierre, Rucker McGroarty, and others. So we will have a Calder winner at the very least to look at the end of this season. But indeed, our season is done, and now we await to see what the result will be for the Rockford Ice Hogs. They are back in the playoffs, taking on the Milwaukee Admirals. In round number 1, they lose a centerman, Victor Sternborg, to a concussion in game number 1. A 1-1 split. Again, we have seen Rockford win a Calder Cup in the series so far. It's a best of 3 from this point on. They lose game 5, and that is embarrassing, honestly, for that team. That is a stacked AHL club. For them to lose in 6 games, yeah, it feels like this season we left a lot on the table on both levels. The Ice Hogs should have made it further, and the Hawks probably should have made the playoffs. Not that Milwaukee's that bad, especially that top 9. Well, you know, Milwaukee would have been disappointed if they lost too. Honestly, both they were pretty stacked. They were pretty stacked. Maybe we're being a little bit too harsh on Rockford there, but it was a pretty tough matchup. So turns out it's going to be an off-season video. Let's see how it plays out. First and foremost, the Stanley Cup and Calder Cup winners. And the winners of the Stanley Cup here, we've had some weird winners so far in this run. I wouldn't necessarily call Dallas weird, but Jason Robertson and the Stars do win the Stanley Cup, with the Ontario Reign winning the Calder Cup. So the Dallas Stars win their first championship in over 25 years. I mean, dating back to 1999, but there you go. They win over New Jersey as well. Speaking of the 90s, and 2 clubs that had quite a bit of success in the 90s, there you go. That was the final, with the Kraken making it to the conference final. Let's get a quick little look at Dallas. I mean, you can already kind of tell who the key players for them happen to be. That is insanity from Jason Robertson, Rupe Hintz. They also added Nick Schmaltz. Yeah, pretty stacked for the Dallas Stars. 20-year-old Henry Muse is a Stanley Cup champion. Kevin Lankinen is the Devil. But yeah, all in all, I think we can kind of, take positives away from this season. It really would have been nice to make the playoffs. AHL-wise, it really would have been nice for a deeper playoff run. Evan Bouchard is the best player in the world, apparently. Back-to-back Norris winners, Lady Bings. Vanainen does win the Calder, though, which is phenomenal. Conn Smythe to Jason Robertson. Billy Husso wins the Vezina. What else do we have here for more important awards? Selke goes to Sasha Barkov, 3rd time in 4 years. Ted Lindsay to Bouchard, but the Rocket Richard to Jason Robertson. In the AHL, Tanner Howe scored the most points. He was also league MVP. Cole Eiserman scored the most goals for the 2nd year in a row, with Tanner Howe being the top rookie. The top defender of Vladislav Kalachnikov. You have Dave Riddick as the best goaltender. MVP of the playoffs, Akil Thomas. And that does it for the season, again with the Ontario Reign winning the Calder Cup. So, the draft, the lottery. Will we have a bit of a pick-me-up for this episode? No, we will not. 12th overall pick belongs to us. There was very, very little movement. Just Vegas and Carolina swapping spots. The Hurricanes have the top pick. We'll be picking 12th overall, or will we? We might see, of course, what happens in terms of movement. It's an end of an era. Patrick Kane and Jonathan Toews have both retired, as has the likes of Joe Pavelski, Brad Marchand, Blake Wheeler, Zach Parise. But Kane and Toews are gone, and as interesting as it would have been to kind of hold on to them for a while, I also think we moved on from them at the right time. Brent Burns is gone, along with quite a few notable defenders, chief among them Luke Shen. And Jonathan Quick retires as a member of the Boston Bruins. Fair enough. As Wheeler, Pavelski, Burns all become coaches, Cam Atkinson becomes a scout. 12th overall pick. We have P.O. Joseph that we could move or qualify. Zuccarello's obviously done. And yeah, P.O. wants 11, 12. I mean, Jesus, the longer the deal, even up to $17 million. I don't see how we don't move him, really. I'd love to keep him, but he clearly wants out because he's asking for more money the longer the contract is. Detroit at number 7 is looking to move the pick. This is the Gavin McKenna draft. And there's a couple of other real dudes, Adam Nemec, Kosick, Rebrowick. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. This would certainly be a draft where we could trade up to 7th and still get somebody very, very solid. Or we could wait, not trade up, get Nikolai Sharov. But if we trade up using P.O. Joseph, 2-for-1 special. Let's talk to Detroit. And whether or not they need a defender. I really don't want to get rid of P.O. Joseph, but he is just asking for so much damn money that there's no way we can do it. And he's good enough to get that 7th overall pick. He is. What did it say? Contract-wise? It is contract-wise. And I mean, Jesus Christ, imagine him on a team with Seider, Edvinsson, Wallander. Defensively, taking somebody back wouldn't be the worst idea. They do have Albert Johansson as a lefty. Brady Shea is on that side, and Shai, whose last name I cannot pronounce, is also there. It would make sense for them to give up a defender or two in this deal. That Brady Shea contract is abysmal, but we could certainly take it for now. So, I mean, it would be Joseph, Seider, Edvinsson, Wallander, Shai, and Johansson. And then could do whatever about Bixel. Take on Brady Shea, could buy out the deal. Like, I'm just thinking about Bixel and trying to maybe pick him up in this deal as well to make that work and to make it, less of a logjam defensively. Like Tuomisto, we're not as worried about him. Elviro's 24. And they have a 52 overall guy signed. Fair enough. Honestly, I mean, Brady Shea is the guy that makes sense, especially for them cap-wise. Edvinson's deal is up. At the same time, you could say, well, I mean, Joseph, Edvinsson, can they afford them both? If I send him there, cap-wise, they might be screwed. Berggren, they have to sign. Soderblom, Athanasiou will probably go. Veleno will probably go. Is it fair to trade P.O. Joseph to Detroit? The Carolina Hurricanes at number 1 select Gavin McKenna, first overall. Is there a different way for us to get this pick and then work out a different deal for P.O. Joseph? In terms of Trade Finder, it is not possible. Again, there's no guarantees that we have to trade up, but it was a thought. In terms of value, I mean, that could be moving Kevin Korchinski, but again, just the freaking expense of that contract is absolutely insane. Novikov actually has half decent value. Go figure. If we were to do Trade Finder for Joseph, any offers out there? Detroit wants him. A first, that 7th overall, Wozniak and Logan Thompson. And New Jersey is offering the 31st overall pick and Lashunov. Let's double check New Jersey, but in my opinion, Detroit just gave me the go-ahead to make this deal happen. Lashunov is a right defender. 20 years old, 77 overall, medium lead, has in reverse. Again, he'd be the Connor Murphy replacement. And then we could use this pick to then trade up and try to get the 7th from Detroit. Alongside prospects, other lower picks maybe. So it would be P.O. Joseph and our current captain, whose value is way down, but our current captain and Connor Murphy, who I don't really want to get rid of because, again, gem of a guy. But P.O. Joseph and Connor Murphy, plus whatever else, Shunoff, the 31st, or we do that deal with the Red Wings. I mean, the Devils, you certainly have more of an argument. At the same time, I mean, Seamus Casey is on that right-hand side. They have Marino on the right, Siegenthaler on the left, Nemec on the right, Hamilton on the right, Luke Hughes on the left. Jesus, so it would be Joseph, Hughes, and Siegenthaler, because they just re-signed Luke Hughes for $11 million. Obviously, Luke Hughes I'd sign for $11 million. I just don't know about signing P.O. Joseph for that much. Shunoff. Or do we take that deal from Detroit? I feel like we could still trade up and get that pick from Detroit anyway, which is what we want the most. And you could argue it makes a little bit more sense to send him to New Jersey, as Volkov goes second overall to the Sharks. Again, Detroit, it's just cap-wise and everything else they have going on. I feel like we got to take that Devils deal. I get that for the Red Wings, it'd be awesome to get him. I can't give P.O. Joseph more than twice what he's already currently making. So we're going to take this deal from New Jersey. I am going to safety net it because you know how the AI are. They like to cheat on some of these offers. I typically don't like, or typically don't mind accepting them for what they are. Lashunov, first and a third for P.O. Joseph. It's done. We have dealt P.O. Joseph to the New Jersey Devils. It was not the trade I necessarily wanted to make, but I still think it's the right move. Again, keeping P.O. Joseph would have been great, but man, $11 million. I mean, you could argue he's worth it for his production, but I mean, you're talking up to 13, like we said, if we wanted to sign him long term. So we want that 7th from Detroit. We're willing to give up the 31st overall to do it, and we will need a little bit of extra value to sway this in our favor, as Ivan Vorobyev has dropped to a low elite. He still has the badges, so he's still a part of our plans, but damn. And honestly, I don't think I'm going to trade Connor Murphy's rights immediately. But knowing now that that right-hand side is Jones, Schneider, and then Murphy/Lashunov, it does open up the door to move on from Sandin Pellikka, because I can't imagine, again, moving Seth Jones right now. I mean, Schneider, it's funny, he has truculence, his body checking isn't that good. Honestly, Braden Schneider, you're really a part of the future here. Great skater, but I'm not so sure as we continue to move certain pieces out. And we got Della Rivera for the left. So that's another factor. And then Sam Rinzel. I mean, again, like, I don't want to trade the guys that we were planning on building around, that we inherited, like Sam Rinzel, but man, he's kind of the guy to move because Sandin Pellikka is stepping up. So what if we move Sam Rinzel in this deal to Detroit? I mean, as a prospect for them, you might give them other options in case they are over the cap. And for us, I mean, we can take back literally anybody on an expiring deal without value. Olli Maatta, for example, we could take him back in the deal. 31st overall pick, Sam Rinzel for the 7th. Olli Maatta, I know I have to try to make this happen fast, not fast enough, as Rinne goes to Vegas. I do think we have the basis for our trade here with the Red Wings to move up and make this happen. So again, the 7th overall pick, and we will take on Olli Maatta's expiring contract in exchange for Sam Rinzel and the 31st overall pick. I might be able to safety net this, maybe not. Let's try with a 3rd rounder. That's rejected. What about straight up? Straight up didn't go through either. We're going to have to add a little bit more, which is okay. In lieu of draft picks, what do we have? Could send them Logan Brown, Cody Glass. They want both of them. Just their expiring deals. Yeah, they would have too many skaters, though. That makes sense. That makes sense. Could send them some of the trash. I mean, the signing rights to Zuccarello, they wouldn't be able to fit. What about Tohila as a forward? I keep forgetting about the contracts. It's going to have to be a draft pick. Let's give up our latest 3rd rounder from the Devils. So the 2 picks we just got from the Devils, and Sam Renzel for the 7th overall pick. Still not enough. It might have to be that second. Let's try the highest of the 3rd round picks. Quite far off, really. Okay, well, if we're giving up Renzel, let's also look at giving up a forward prospect. And as far as who that is, I'm not entirely sure. Kurashev, obviously, we are tempted to move on from as a 3rd liner. Colton Dach, there's Ludwinski. I mean, Roulette doesn't have that much value. This could be the time to move on from Colton Dach. He did have a pretty good season, though, but based on his value and how good he's likely to be, I mean, this would be the time to move on from him. Give the Red Wings another option. We'll take on the expiring contract of Andreas Athanasiou. Renzel, Dach in the 31st for the 7th overall. Still no. Man, okay, they're making us earn this. What about that higher of the 3rd round picks? There it is. So we wheel and we deal, but we end up with the 7th overall selection in this draft while retaining the 12th as well. Pretty good bit of business. The Philadelphia Flyers select Rube Berowick as we take a look at the trades, which again, it is P.O. Joseph. Basically what the trades end up being, P.O. Joseph, Sam Renzel, Colton Dach, the 31st, and a 3rd rounder for Lashunov and the 7th overall pick. I don't think that's inherently bad, especially if we hit with 2 medium elites in these next couple of picks. I don't think it's that bad, especially knowing again that P.O. Joseph was going to cost us probably $12, $13 million a season. So Nashville at 5 takes Kosick, and Nemec is off the board. That leaves us at pick number 7. And we have our pick of the litter here between 3 different options, 3 different forwards. Alexander Zhekimovs is the first option. All A's except for a B in defense, NHL ready, unconfirmed 1T. None of his abilities are confirmed. It's a little bit scary. Roger Lukovic, which we'll say is the son of Brad, former defender Brad, he lit up U.S. Central. A's across the board. Lucic comparison, NHL ready, big rig confirmed. Oh yeah, he's a power forward and he plays like it, no doubt. And then Tim Thorne, who might as well have been a teammate. Great point totals, A's across the board. Patrick Kane comparison. Unconfirmed ankle breaker is a gold. Does have spinorama. Okay, so stylistically, Tim Thorne would make a lot of sense for this team in terms of getting another high-level playmaker for that left-hand side. Granted, we have DeBrincat, but obviously Ness is more of a two-way. You have Reichel. You know, if we play DeBrincat on the right, and it's him and Vanainen, then it opens up room in the top 6 for Ness and the winger. But I can't help but think, even though that Vanainen is a power forward, that another power forward like that is exactly what we need for the sole purpose of we can confirm that he has those abilities. If I were to take Thorne and it turned out that somehow he only had a silver, I'm sure he has a gold, but we don't know for sure. We have to go for Roger. And we are going to go for Roger Lukovic, who is an 82 medium elite. Add him to the P.O. Joseph trade tree. Very happy with that. We are going to be a fast, physical, skilled hockey team. Even better, he had close quarters hiding. That is an amazing pick for us with Lukovic. And again, we still have the 12th overall pick. We won't get either of the two we were just debating between. As the Kings take Thorne, he did indeed have everything that you'd want from a playmaker. Everything that you would want from a playmaker. I had no shit with the Patrick Kane comparison, but I think we made the right choice. Time will tell, but I think we did. Vancouver took Zhekimovs, who was also great. Did he have an ability? He must have. He had 1T. Yeah. We couldn't have gone wrong either way, but we did get the highest rated of the bunch. Perreault to Washington and St. Louis. I looked at it too fast. With Sharoff, the defender. That leaves us at 12. And unfortunately, we can't guarantee another elite. We're going to have to be pretty shrewd here. Connor Harding, 3 years out. Dominic Cizikas, 3 years out. Ville Hikala, what do we got for you? NHL ready as a center. We're looking pretty good there. Stuart Colborne. Quick draw as well. Damn. Daniel Biron also looks great. I mean, I don't know if we'd take him over the other options. Antoine Paré, 2 years out. Mikhail Nicholas, 3 years out. William McKay, he's not that great either. Dylan Fair. Okay, I think we kind of know here then. Wesley Berry doesn't compare. Ariel Green, a lot of these guys are looking okay, but no one quite measures up. There is Josh Hull. Getting our 31st overall pick back might not be a bad idea either for him or Granato. Damn. Kent Wild, also available later on. Sorry, I'm just kind of scouting out the early stages of that second round just to get a general idea as to whether or not we're going to try to move back. Medvenov's out there. Okay, we're certainly going to need a timeout, aren't we? 12th overall. Hikala, Colborne, Biron. All three of them centers. Who do we think is the best? Hikala, we know the least about his attributes. We can confirm these two are NHL ready. Colborne has the player comparison and a confirmed ability. As much as I'd like to take Ville Hikala, I think Stuart Colborne's probably the guy. We can at least guarantee that he has an ability. You know, again, Hikala might be even better, but we're going to take Stuart, and that's the problem, right? Like, Hikala, is he an elite? We just don't know. We just don't know. There are other teams that are looking to trade, but the odds that we could trade up again are pretty slim, at least to this stage of the draft. I mean, trading back and getting the 31st back, certainly possible. Are there any of these guys that we're immediately willing to give up to trade back up? I think the answer is no, because we can't guarantee they'll be better. With the exception of Novikov, to be honest, I'm afraid to trade him because his value showing up that high, that overall might skyrocket. You could argue Halttunen. I don't necessarily want to get rid of Kasper Halttunen. You could argue him, but that's the thing. It would probably have to be Halttunen plus Sandin Pellikka plus. Moving on from Kurashev, when I don't know for sure if I want to. It's a big risk. It's a big risk. So, we got to go with what we know. Stuart Colborne is the pick. 77 overall, medium top six. Indeed has silver quick draw, 78 face-off ability. Very well-rounded two-way. But did we make the right choice? Montreal at 13 takes Hikala, same thing. He does have silver no contest. I feel like we made the right choice because we didn't risk it. And Columbus took Harding, who we were never really considering. Islanders at 15 takes Cizikas. Is that guy we were looking at still available? Biron's still there. Really? I'm going to let him go, though. Florida takes Biron. We couldn't have gone wrong, except for Biron not having the ability. So I think we did pretty good. I think we did. Lukovic, Colborne are very much included in the big old trade tree here. I mean, yeah, it comes down to being Mata, Athanasiou, Lukovic, Colborne, and Lashunov for Rinzel, Doc, the 31st, the 95th, and P.O. Joseph. Plus cap space for us. I think we did okay. Like I said, I still am intrigued by that dude a little bit later on. Paré is still available? Okay, there were two different Parés. 31 and 32. Granato and Hull. I mean, Granato especially looks insane. Interesting. But Josh Hull. Can we make something happen here? Let's talk to Buffalo. Let's talk to Detroit. I am not afraid to keep wheeling and dealing at this draft. Buffalo, no interested options. Detroit, no interested options. Damn. Not that we can't still put a trade together. Round number 2, yeah, it would have to be trading back into the first. We're not going to get back into the second. Detroit, I mean, let's be honest. I know that you need cap space. That is the biggest thing that you could look for right now is cap space. And I can take Ben Sherratt, even though his deal is up. Could take him away from you. Could even take Michael Rasmussen. Brady Shea, again, not that I'd want to take Brady Shea, but I could. Because, Jesus, do you guys not need, like, of all the people you do not need on this roster right now, Brady Shea is probably the top one. Unfortunately for me, he doesn't factor in as a negative value contract, which does hurt a little bit. But if we were to use that high second rounder, we'll add a couple of people to the mix here. We'll go actually one defender and one forward. I mean, Krutl might be too damn good for them. And then there's all these other guys. Isaac Phillips. You know, I like Isaac Phillips, but he could be a good roster player for them. He's still got time. Calgary's about to make this pick. Hold on. And then forward-wise, oh, God. What about Antonio Stranges? Just roster players for you guys. Any interest? They said yes. Okay, that worked out pretty well. So let's go ahead. Sim to pick number 31. We'll see who else was taken, by the way. You had Pare, Nicholas. Obviously not going to call out everybody. But we give up a couple of most likely AHLers. Take some things off their hands. It comes down to Hull or Granato. Obviously, Granato's interesting because he's going to be low 70s. And it looks like the rating's going to be better. Whereas Hull, man, if he has that gold, this is the time where we risk it for Josh Hull in hopes that he has a gold. We couldn't risk it earlier. We can risk it now. Josh Hull's the pick. 65 low elite, but does he have the ability? Yes, let's go. It's not Schneip, but it's 1T, along with Shock and Awe, Magnetic, Snappy, and Relentless. Okay, well, we missed the playoffs, but I certainly found a way to make myself feel better because that is an absolutely insane first round and a hell of a way to get over missing the playoffs and having to trade P.O. Joseph. Not too bad. Granato was a 75 medium 4 with 2 abilities, both related to shooting. As a defender, I feel like Hull was the better choice. Much higher upside. 10 overall points worse, but higher upside. Couple other things to do really quickly. Just maintenance, essentially, with the team. Vikman, Quap, I wanted to see if I could get anything for these two because Verkunen's obviously our long-term guy. The answer to that was no. Defensively, well, our top 4 is pretty much set. Connor Murphy, yeah, we're going to keep Connor Murphy. I mean, I'm not going to trade him for that. Can I flip Olimata for anything? Nope. No, I can't. Worth a shot. Can I ship Ben Sherratt? Nope. Nobody wants him. All right, so defensively, we don't have much else to do. Forward-wise, we know Zook's not coming back. We'll just let his contract expire. Screw it. I mean, no reason to do anything else. Look at Lukovic already. Damn. And then on the left, can we shop Athanasiou for anything? No. I was hoping even like a 7th round pick, and it's just not happening. Still don't know what to do with Philip Kurashev. We could get some pieces. Prospects back. I mean, he's a 3rd liner for us. 26 year. I mean, yeah, we have to flip him at that point. We have to flip him for something. And there are apparently a lot of options, including 2nd round picks. The 52nd and Crawl. 52nd and Crawl is a pretty damn good deal. You got Pedersen on Ottawa. 2nd and a 3rd from the Sens is also pretty damn good. It's probably more valuable to us than Philip Kral. Second and a third from the Islanders, 47th as well. We know Hudson didn't quite develop. And then there's guys like on Minnesota, on Edmonton, that we just don't quite know how good they are, or Anaheim as well. So let me just double check this, because we're going to move on from Philip Kurashev here for obvious reasons. So looking, actually it was sorted the way I wanted it to be. Pastujov is a 78 at 22. Granado's already on the block there from Arizona. All right, actually here, let's back out of this because Vegas is about to make that pick. Vegas is about to make that pick. And the second round was looking a little bit shaky, so I have to be honest. Trading him for an outright prospect seems like the better way to go. So Pastujov, Gaucher, it's Price, L'Italien, Gastelin, that's there. All right, so it's Edmonton or Minnesota. Edmonton, Minnesota, Ottawa for prospects. Let me double check this. So Edmonton, either of the top two would be good. 78, 77 at 20 years old. Edmonton appears to be giving us the best deal. They are. The Oilers are definitely giving us the best deal for Philip Kurashev. Given that he's an RFA, not signed to a deal, I feel okay just immediately sending him over there. And I mean, it's basically Price or the forwards. So let's take a look. Let's take a look at both of them really quickly. So Caden Price, left-handed shot. Elliott is a center left wing who is pretty damn well-rounded. Price, I think we're going to go for Elliott here. I think we are. Done deal, Edmonton? Done deal. We move Philip Kurashev to the Edmonton Oilers, freeing up room on that left-hand side for a younger player. And then down the middle, can I flip Rasmussen for anything? No. I mean, I could flip him for Brandon Saad, then see if I could flip Brandon Saad for anything, but Back over to centers. Can I flip Logan Brown for anything? Yeah, I had a feeling that's just pretty much all we're going to get. And one last check of Cody Glass. Okay, so I think we are pretty much done. Now it's just a matter of simming ahead to our picks, seeing if there's anybody left. I mean, I could look at the board, but second round, I don't think we could trade up. So let's just go to pick number 83, which is towards the middle of the third round. Oh my God. And we get a hell of a situation thrown at us here, don't we? I was going to say, now we can start looking to see if anyone's worth it. And then we immediately get two players thrown into our face that might instantly be worth it. Oh man, the goaltender, Commodore. Unconfirmed elite, though. But looking pretty good. A confirmed medium top 6, and Rakos, who is going to be pretty tragic if we're being honest. Okay, and that's it for at least a little bit. So back to the board. Theo Moss. We'll say son of David Moss. Looks good from what we know about him, but we don't know much. Or there is Jan Skrastinch, who looks like he sucks, but we know has a good overall. The Leafs do want to trade the next pick. I think we can just get both. Let's take Moss first and foremost. Yeah, that's unfortunate. For the Leafs. Let's see what we can do here. I actually have another pick later on in this round. I'll give you that and a 7th to drop back 11 spots. There we go. Quick and easy. Quick and easy. Thank you very much, Mr. Dubas. Let's take Skrastinch as well. Yeah, he's a 53. The odds of him developing, incredibly slim. Round 4. Commodore is there. He is definitely the pick. And he is a medium elite, but he's a 50. And for the Coyotes, Well, we know we still have a 4th round pick, and I will give you a 7th rounder next year to allow us to move up 6 spots. They say yes, no surprise, and we will take Rakos and hope that he is good, and he is a great overall. Just kidding. He's a great potential, terrible overall, as are basically the last 3 picks that we have made. But the wheeling and dealing is paying off. We are kind of restocking the cupboards here after knowing that we're going to lose some people. Later on in round 4, I'm going to start looking now. Got Bo Hurd in goal, but we don't know for sure. But there are low elites. Oh, baby. Are there low elites? Dakota Beach on EFCO. You got Xavier Spurgeon. Quite a few. Ooh. Quentin Marsh. Look at you. Let me check Stefan Bacher. He's not looking that good. Franzen had a damn good save percentage. It wasn't that many games. And then Richardson. Okay, well, needless to say, we have targets for the rest of this draft. Acton, 5 years. Kuznetsov, 5 years. Burned Bednars. Great name. Antti Ploistinen. Not looking that great. And in the top 6s. Okay, so certainly, rest of this draft, it's going to be these low elites that are the targets. When is our next pick after this? Okay, yeah, we're good. It's not that far. Not that far. So let's start taking these guys now. Let's go for Torsten Forsberg. Son of Peter, maybe. Who's to say? He is a low elite, 52 overall. This is turning out to be one of, if not, the most stacked draft I have ever had. Jesus. Let's go next to defenseman Dakota Beach. Low elite, but a 49 overall. Oh, 133 is next. We should be good because that is the beginning of the 5th round. And we will take Xavier Spurgeon, the American, 52 overall, low elites. Low elite to glory is the play. And later on in round 5, to round it out, Quentin Marsh of the Moose Jaw Warriors. 70. Say hello to our best steal this year, maybe. 70 overall, low elite Quentin Marsh. He doesn't have any abilities, but my God, this draft. It couldn't have happened at a better time either. Having to make a major trade, missing the playoffs, and now look at us. We're done in this draft. That was our final pick, and yeah, job done. That was insanity in terms of just the amount of talent that we brought in. And again, Kurashev, Joseph, Rinzel. We had to say goodbye to some players who I thought would be a part of the rebuild. But that is a part of franchise mode, is adapting on the fly. And in goal now, we have Commodore, who might be able to pick things up a little bit. Defensively, Lashunov is here. Vorobiev will Beach develop. We still have the likes of Del Mastro and company on the team. But then the forwards, Vanainen, Lukovic, we have Campagna. I'm going to go with Campagna. And Forsberg, the medium 6s on the left. It's Ness and Spurgeon. We have DeBrincat. And it's center, Fantilli, and now with Hull, Marsh, and Novikov in the system. Damn. We are still going to have more tough decisions to make, obviously, this offseason in terms of what we do, what money we spend. Am I bringing back our captain for that price? I probably am. But free agency as well. What are we going to do? What do we have to do? Do we even have to go after anybody? I don't know if we do. We seem pretty stacked already. That said, when Jason Robertson's available, maybe again you adapt on the fly.